talking about how to die?
Don't
fall over backwards.
Oh, my.
We're doing show prep for the ReThink podcast on the edge of death.
Makes me very uncomfortable.
Death Town.
Just pretty convinced that anybody who goes over the edge doesn't make it.
How sturdy are these?
What?
100% you don't make it.
The first ledge is 10 feet, but it has such an angle to it that I think you hit the second ledge at 40, which leads you to the bottom.
Okay, for those of you watching, I'm going to take a picture. You can just see.
Your only hope is like...
You die on the first bounce?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Or you're able to somehow snag that power line, which will probably then shock you.
What power line? And you're dead either way.
Man,
There's a line right through there.
See, as Matt's taking the picture, what would be a great effect would be just to have him drop the phone and just see what it would look like at the bottom.
Where's those GoPros at?
If you care about the content, you'll do it.
Why do we keep having the rock music?
I don't know. Jordan told me there's presets, and in honor of wearing his shirt, I decided.
Is it? Hey, is this podcast sponsored by Jordan?
Oh, it is actually. He's
and the Christchurch band.
It's Jordan Pride and the ReThink podcast.
Ben, you went from sitting to standing.
I'm facing.
Are you uncomfortable?
I am
a little
uncomfortable.
Have to sit on the front step.
I'm going to just sit.
What is it mentally like? You're not gonna purposely jump back, or like you're seated here.
He did say something that made sense. He's thinking we would be so funny he'd laugh and
that makes sense.
Consciousness.
I guffaw, and then I go far away.
Far away.
If you're going to do that, make sure the videos are rolling. They don't need any.
That would be viral.
Yeah.
So we are at Meteora. This is pretty amazing.
Quick, biblical significance, go.
There isn't.
There it is.
Monks retreating from the world. Not from the Bible at all.
God
it's actually
said,
opposite.
let it be.
No, the Beatles said that.
No, I know we're saying
God said it first.
Okay.
I know we're saying there's no biblical significance, but would Paul have walked close enough
to have seen these?
To have seen these rocks?
So.
I don't think so.
Okay.
We're way off the
You got to say it with confidence. Don't ask the question.
Yeah. You just got to say, Paul,
you want to do the false theology podcast?
Paul might have stayed in that building up there.
Yeah. These were just built, several hundred years after.
Built it.
Silas
built it real quick while he was on his way up.
That's where we get our modern term silos from.
You haven't had a chance to do two truths and a lie, have you?
No, not yet.
Next podcast.
Okay, I can do that.
2 truths and a lie.
Okay.
So we are going to run out of daylight before we just jabber away everything. Let's go back and recap so we have some legit content in this incredible location. We've had a full day. We've eaten a lot of food, so we're full. But it's been a big day. A lot of driving on this trip. What is this so far? What do you guys think of this?
It is a lot more driving than we've done on any of our other trips. Turkey, I thought, was a lot.
Yeah, but we've covered like the entire country of Greece, except the islands. We can't drive to those.
I tell you, the only thing I keep thinking about is the distance between the places and how long Paul and his companions walked to get there.
Yeah.
Like, man.
But he probably wasn't here.
Yeah.
This is just it's an incredible, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's incredible. People travel the world to see this spot, and I can see why.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
We've been in the car a lot with Andrew driving up and down mountains, hairpin turns.
Officially over 100 miles an hour today. Congrats.
I do what I can.
For like an extended period of time, not just we got up to 100 and shut it down. We were
he didn't know how to shut it down.
Of 100 miles an hour.
Rolling.
So we made great time.
We had time to make up.
Yeah. Well, we started the morning in Kavala with a podcast at 6 o'clock this morning on the edge of the... I know you all saw that, so don't need to remind you of that. Then we...
Riveting.
What did we do after that?
We drove
Thessalonica.
We did have breakfast.
Yeah, we drove across to Thessalonica. That was a couple hours.
2 hours.
Yep.
At Thessalonica, what did we see?
The Agora, the Roman Agora. That was it.
It was... Boy, it was rough, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't return there again.
No, so in 1969, they had found the column, and they restored this one column of the Agora, but they wanted to build City Hall over what remained of the ancient city, and they got them, not to do it, but the only thing that really remains of ancient Thessalonica is this one city block with really nothing.
Which it was the leading city center of Macedonia at the time, so we know it was a huge city.
It had major political, financial, military influence there.
What we saw was, what would you say, about 30 feet underground, probably?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
That's how over time it's built up that much.
How big do you think that site was?
Like a city block.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing, is these ancient cities, not just here in Greece, but all over, ancient cities were just layered. So when you got done with one period of time, you built a city right on top of it. So,
which is kind of crazy to be walking down the streets thinking there's a city under here.
Yeah.
Yeah, 30 feet down.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's pretty wild. But the modern city we just weren't real excited to be there. It was kind of dirty and felt a little bit oppressed, maybe a little bit.
Well, so that's what I was going to say, is I found that interesting. I made a little video about that. The need for the gospel was real in the day of Paul and Silas, Luke, Timothy, and it's real today. You know, I shared some of those just quick facts about Greece. 3% of the population actually attend church, even though 91-ish% would say they're Christian. And then only 0.5% are evangelical believers.
Look at that. There are a couple of monks, and they're taking a
Cable car.
small cable car.
That's cheating.
Wow. That is sweet.
Yeah, get a video of that.
Yeah, don't film us. Quit filming us.
But that's definitely cheating. I'm just saying, like,
They carried every one of those rocks up there.
they didn't.
That is amazing.
Not those two.
And they didn't have that cable
They
car.
just got done drinking cappuccino.
By the way, they drove up in a Honda CR-V, which was surprising.
That
That's
was
cheating too.
that was
yeah.
a little surprising.
Wow.
I don't know how far you want to jump ahead, Jeff.
I don't know. I'm totally
I just want to watch. I'm mesmerized by
because
this.
I think they're going to come off of there.
Is it stuck? No, it's just that slow.
It's moving uncomfortably slow.
Yeah.
Ben, how would you feel about
nervous
riding
for them.
the cable car up there?
No.
I would be very tight. I would be very. That would not be enjoyable for me.
He's sweating right now. He's not been able to stand still.
You're really like moving around here.
Don't like it at all.
Stefan was telling me earlier there was a cable car thing where the brakes just let go, and like this cable car went sliding down. It was like somewhere in the United States.
I'm saying that there is an innovation based upon a bucket they had strung a rope across.
I would agree. That's the modern day bucket.
It just keeps increasing till
Wow.
today they jump in there from their Honda CR-V.
Well, it's better than trying to take the CR-V across there.
Wow.
So.
Great if you look out at me.
Well, we went from Thessaloniki today down to Berea.
Before we jump ahead, Ben, you said something about that letter, Paul, and something he said. I can't remember what it was, but it was really good when we were walking the streets. Do you remember?
The letter of Thessalonians?
Yeah, he said something
First or
about
second one?
Yeah.
You were talking about them looking to heaven.
Oh,
It was kind of striking to think that, just however long, 2,000 years ago ish, that Paul wrote to them and said, stop
Thessalonians 4 and 5.
Yeah, stop looking for Jesus. He's coming, but stop waiting around for him. Get to work. Go about your day, and if you don't work, you don't eat, kind of a thing. And you walking the streets today and the busyness of it was really striking. That just 2,000 years later, that message has just been lost. That they're not anxious for his return anymore, and that they're. Andrew gave the statistics, so it was really exciting in a way, or kind of interesting to watch them live in this city where this apostle lived and walked and preached and wrote letters to the church, and then the church just doesn't exist now. It's not there. So it was really a stark reminder of why people need to hear about Jesus. So,
well, not just like they need to hear, but it's so important for us to pass it on.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is the gospel, our relationship with Jesus is not something we just hold to ourselves. It's something that we pass on to the people around us, to our families, to the next generation. Otherwise, Thessalonica is a perfect example of that. Greece is a perfect example of that.
It's literally your sermon 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Pass it on.
Mm-hmm.
Greatest thing you can pass on is your faith.
Mm-hmm. the thing that probably was most impactful for me in the whole course of the day was between Kavala and Thessaloniki. I had the thought, let's read First Thessalonians, and I just started reading in the preface and ended up reading 3 chapters. Just reading down through this. Wait until we got to the let me teach you something kind of part of the letter. The introduction and the commendations and the encouragement. The intimacy of relationship that Paul established with that church. He was there 3 weeks that time. And then we spent quite a bit of miles on our journey going 100 miles an hour trying to determine how many. He went back at least, we think, twice again. Instead of sailing across, he travels the loop up to Macedonia. So he spent not as much time as in Ephesus or a Corinth in his ministry time, but enough that relationship was very intimate, very personal. That letter, if you go back and if you read it driving into the city, it's like he's writing to some really, really good friends. Just that intimacy of what the gospel brings to us is important. That struck me. Anything else before we? It was a lot of driving today. We went down to Berea then. Maybe mention that, and once again, that was kind of, I say disappointing, but it was disappointing. The town was a lot nicer.
We didn't go to the synagogue.
In Berea?
Yeah.
There wasn't one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where the guy told us to go.
The lady?
No, the guy.
Oh,
yesterday.
we met a sweet lady that tried to help us, but we couldn't understand her.
Was that there or was that Vergina?
I don't think there was a synagogue.
He mentioned
there was
the
back in the
rotunda.
day. In Thessalonica there was.
I don't know.
We'll go back and check.
Anyway.
Let's try back.
Well, we wanted
Berea.
to go back to a 4th century baptistry, but they wouldn't let us in there because of COVID, which is a couple of years old now. But they've closed down pieces of the tourism ministries closed that down. And the lady actually told us if she opens the door, it sounds an alarm that notifies them in Athens that she's opened the door and the police come. So we're like, yeah, they wouldn't see it that bad.
Her name was Eva. So, I mean,
Shout out to Eva.
Yeah, it was something.
Now you're probably watching
something
this.
else, but I shortened it up to Eva. So
I was sitting there thinking, that means that no one has been in that area, as far as we know, for 2 years.
Right. And we all piled out of the same van. We're the only people there.
Mm-hmm. I think she wanted to let us in,
Yeah.
but she can't.
she took us around for a little bit.
Other than that, we
Yeah.
saw some mosaics and a few things. We did find a chunk of old Roman road, which is...
You can see the path where the chariots rode or the carts. Yeah.
Pretty cool. Then we drove up and over the mountains and find ourselves checked in, had a good meal on the rooftop looking at the opposite side of this cliff face here in Meteora. And we probably shouldn't go into much detail about what's here because that'll be tomorrow's podcast, right?
Yeah.
But we're here ready for tomorrow's exploration. We're going to be up here before daylight. We're going to run up the hill. And
We may
we
just actually
figured it
stay
out.
here tonight.
stay here, just sleep here.
Yeah.
Blumker's saying we could get up here in 6 hours is what he said.
Yeah, some of us could, some of us can't.
Well, we know how to get in now. So
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true.
All we got to do.
You
Call
think
the
if we
cable
just
car
got
back.
in that cable car, we could drive? I mean, like,
I think we could
Scale.
just go across it.
That makes me uncomfortable thinking
this is
about
not the one that is in the James Bond movie, is it?
No, not this
No.
monastery.
No. We'll show you pictures of that one tomorrow.
But are we going in there tomorrow? Because if so, how do we get in there?
We have to
Do we have to go to the
No,
cable
we have to
car?
no,
walk.
you got to go down at
No,
the
we gotta
bottom.
walk
and
the
Walk
steps.
steps.
We don't get to cheat
See, there's the path right there. Goes.
up the side of the mountain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of sketchy
Sweet.
looking.
That's awesome.
very
Pray for us, folks. No, wait, we're already back, so don't worry about it. We either made it or we
Or
didn't.
we're not.
Yeah. All right. Anything else to wrap up today?
Oh, yeah, Berea. I had a thought about Berea because the Bereans are the antithesis to the Thessalonians, at least originally, because Paul is run out of town at Thessalonica, and the Bereans they start searching the scriptures. Paul communicates the gospel to them, and they start going like, is this really, could this be the Messiah that we've read about in the Old Testament? So Paul commends them for searching the scriptures, but then later on he also commends them for not just knowing the truth, but living the truth. And that's a cool picture there, because that's a heavy word for us to realize as well. It's not about knowing the right things. It's about living the right things.
We talked about on the drive down the fact that the people from Thessalonica that ran Paul and Silas out pursued them, found them at Berea, which is a 70-mile walk. Yeah. How intense is the hatred that you chase somebody out of town 70 miles to keep them from setting up camp in the next town? That's crazy.
Yeah.
And they had to cross a few mountains, too. So it wasn't just a flat walk either. It would have been some up and down.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're having a good time in Greece. I hope you're enjoying the ReThink podcast on location at Meteora.